going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
Dante will dribble it out. The Ducks are Pac-12 tournament champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Game week, let's go Ducks! Spring game coming up on Saturday. Oregon on the practice fields for football this morning. We've got some updates from Coach Lanning, also from the second scrimmage of the spring that took place on Saturday, and some other updates from offensive coordinator Will Stein coming this week, heading into the matchup with themselves on Saturday at Autzen Stadium. It's Ducks versus Ducks, or is it Ducks versus them? Can it be Ducks versus them in a spring game? Is it Ducks versus us? I don't know what that cinematic recap's going to look like. But I can tell you that the parking lot's open at 10:30 at Autzen Stadium. The Autzen Stadium gates open at noon. Please bring some non-perishable food items to donate to Food for Lane County. Fan Fest in the Mashofsky Center from 11 to 1. The fan shuttles begin from the Valley River Mall to the stadium also at 11 a.m. And again, 10:30 is when those parking lots open. Autzen Stadium gates open at noon, 1 o'clock. The Oregon football spring game will kick off. Post-game! Matt Carney on the field, a concert. We're all coming home to Oregon. There's your spring game timeline. What to expect from the Ducks? Well, the game format is still being finalized. Rosters are being selected, but it's going to be football. The Ducks are going to have some fun throughout the day. Will Stein said maybe have a little creativity, a little bit of fun out there. But it is an evaluation period for the Ducks. The spring game, Coach Lanning wants it to be as robust of a game day exercise as it can be. That means officials, that means fans, that means true scenarios that will happen in a game, because what happens in practice, very important. This is just one of 15 spring evaluations for the players. But it's different when there's fans in the stands. It's different when the lights go on, as they say. It does add an extra breakdown, I think, for the Ducks. All your details are available on GoDucks.com. Most importantly, no parking is available the day of the game. Get your parking ahead of time, GoDucks.com. You'll get a digital version of a parking pass in the GoDucks Game Day app. And again, non-perishable food items. Admission is free, but we encourage you to donate to Food for Lane County. That would be outstanding. Dan Lanning, Rashad Samples, new coach, assistant head coach. Coaching running backs. He talked with the media over the weekend. A lot of interviews for you today also. Ducks softball. Some news on women's golf. The Pac-12 championships are going on right now up in Pullman. We'll tell you how the Ducks are faring. Baseball with a interesting weekend. No Duck Insider yesterday because the Ducks beat San Francisco in a Monday matinee. I was on the air for that one, so we didn't have Duck Insider yesterday. That means that you all get Ryan Milano on Duck Insider tomorrow, because he didn't get to do Monday. I feel bad. So now he gets to do Wednesday. That's the plan, at least, moving forward. Softball over the weekend. Fans, we're going to talk with Coach Lombardi. We actually sat down with her this morning. We're going to play it for you on the show tomorrow and hear a little bit of her post-game conversation with the media after senior weekend. Got a win over the Beavs. Love to see it. But seriously, on a really serious note, shout out to the fans. Shout out to Oregon State. Shout out to the umpires. Shout out to the entire Oregon team for the way that the Hannah Delgado moment was honored on Sunday. Got a chance to start on senior day, then was removed from the lineup. That was a pretty powerful moment, a standing ovation across the Jane. If you didn't get goosebumps for that, you weren't paying attention. That was cool on so many levels. Oregon State even lined up to pay tribute to Hannah. Glad that she's going to be okay and make a full recovery. That was a cool moment. bigger than sports, and we got a chance to kind of celebrate it all as a sports community in that moment. All right, spring game week. Dan Lanning on Saturday following the scrimmage, the second of 3 scrimmages during the spring. Coach Lanning brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Coach Lanning.
All right, really great positive scrimmage for us from a standpoint. A lot of things to improve, but really physical out there. Saw some better execution at times. Offense did a good job moving the ball at times, but they also turned the ball over. Defense, started off with a 3 and out, and had some, really good back and forth. I think they won both red area situations and 2-minute situations there at the end. So some good back and forth throughout the scrimmage, some good physicality. With that, we can kind of open it up.
What's your reaction to Dalen Austin's arrest, and what's his status with the program right now?
Yeah, I have no updates right now. Beyond, I know Dalen's character, and I think there's a lot of details that will continue to play out. Beyond that, I'm not going to speak on it any more than that.
What's the last few days been like for the defensive backs, the room, but Rashad Waddou? That relationship goes back with him for several
Like I said,
years.
I'm not going to talk about it beyond what I just talked about. But our team's in a really good place.
You said you want to see improvement as much as anything over last week. Is there any other areas you felt like right away you could say, yeah, I saw improvement there?
Yeah, I think it was much more physical this scrimmage, which is what you want to see. I know it's always a fine line as a coach. You try to decide, do you go out there and play 2-hand touch, but that's not football, right? So we had a physical scrimmage today, and I think that showed up, in the trenches. It showed up in our tackling and our blocking. So I think that was a real positive.
As far as offensive ownership and offensive autonomy, is that something you can see this early on with the quarterbacks, or do you still need to wait a little bit longer before you see that?
Well, I think this team has to own it, right? The offense in general has to own it. But yeah, there's plenty of room for growth. But the more that we're all 11 in sync, right? Quarterback doesn't make it happen on his own, right? And the players around him, they don't make it happen on their own. It's 11 guys working together.
Talked a lot about just like the juice of the team, how you want the team to have juice, but you want to be able to not have so much juice where they can't execute. How would you kind of rate the juice level right now, especially being 1 week out from the spring game?
Well, I'd say our passion today was really good. Like, there was great juice, but I think that passion became a weakness. We had more penalties today than we've had, in our previous scrimmages, and it's because of things that happened after the whistle, right? So we got to be able to control that. We're not going to be the team that beats ourselves. That's something we had to improve on from last season. So we had some up downs to remind us of that right after practice.
What progress perspective do you feel like you guys are ready for next Saturday in terms of putting on a good show?
Yeah, we're ready for next Saturday. We're ready to practice some more. Next Saturday is an opportunity for us to continue to get better.
What are you looking for?
We got to get to Tuesday first.
Right.
Yeah, next week, obviously that spring game. What are you looking forward to most?
Well, I love having our fans out here. It's hard to recreate a game-like atmosphere, but here at Autzen, we're able to do that with our spring game, with the turnout we'll get. I expect a packed crowd, some people to come support Lane County and bring some non-perishable items that can get them into the game, really, and take advantage of a great experience. There's some other events going on around that, with our concert and other pieces that'll be involved. So I want the fans to have a great experience, and I want our players to have a feel of what it's like on game day.
How do you assess the tackling so far, especially in a scrimmage like today where you're going a little bit more live than you would in practice?
Well, you need to watch it on film and be able to assess it, but I saw some good and some bad.
Cam Alexander brought this spring, bring to that secondary that maybe you guys didn't have before?
I don't know if it's anything that we didn't have before, but Cam's a good player. He's got great, speed and athleticism. I think he matches routes well. Going to keep challenging him, and from a physicality standpoint in the tackling. But he's been a guy that can stay. He can run with anybody out here, right? He's a high-speed guy, which is a great trait to have at corner.
How much growth have you seen from Jay Harris so far from when he got here to where he is now?
Today was a good day for Jay. I think he had 2 touchdowns out there. Still needs to work on the details, right? Learning what he needs to be doing consistently. But was a solid practice from him today.
How did Coach samples around so far? This obviously being his first scrimmage since it's been here. What's that been like so far?
Yeah, he's jumped in and got his feet right in the water. He's done a great job of embracing those guys, building relationships with those guys. I know he knows he has a good room, so he wants to continue to impact that room in a positive way, and he's done a great job of that.
For a lot of new faces on the team, they're going to be their first. The spring will be their first time where they get to kind of interact with the Duck fans and see Autzen Stadium all filled up. Just what's your message been like to those new players about what it's like to play in Autzen Stadium and what can they expect?
Yeah, we're not there yet. We got to get to Tuesday first, Thursday first. There's a lot of work still for us to be done. We're going to take advantage of every day we have to that point, but I know that atmosphere is going to be a lot of fun for our players to experience first time.
Things that Taisheem's looked to work to improve on here this spring.
Well, we've worked him in a couple different positions. A lot of last year he played primarily at star. Now he's working a little bit more at high safety, so getting a little bit of both of that. One thing is the experience that he has, and we're going to lean on his communication, so continue to ask him to be a great communicator back there in the back end.
You also passed the sideline tablet legislation. Just have you guys been working with that at all here in the spring? Will that be part of the spring game for the coaches?
Yeah, we've been using it all spring. And we, even today we incorporated some of the 2-minute rules that are different as well.
Those 2-minute rules are going into effect next season with those 2-minute warnings, similar to the NFL. And I expect that to continue to be a trend, that there's going to be more mirroring of the two leagues. And in fact, Coach Lanning even said today, we're going to play that interview coming up for you in a moment, that he actually is in favor of it. And I think it's something to get used to, that's for sure. Quick timeout. When we come back, Coach Lanning talking with the media now today. When we don't have a Duck Insider on a Monday, everything gets crammed in. We're going to do that. Talk a lot of spring football. 1 o'clock on Saturday. We'll see you at Autzen, and we're talking with Coach Lanning after practice today, right after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We heard from Coach Lanning, part 1. Now we're going to hear from Coach Lanning, part 2. The Oregon football head coach. He met with the media on Saturday. You just heard that. Also, today, just after practice, our crew just recorded it, heading to the Go Ducks YouTube right now, and we've got it for you live in the 1 o'clock hour. Brought to you by WVCI, exceptional cancer care close to home. Coach Lanning with the media just about an hour ago.
All right, really good Tuesday practice from our guys. Like the energy and effort out there. Really like what our coaches are doing from how we challenge ourselves to be different in drill work, and that's showing up on the field. It's going to help us be different on Saturdays. But we can go ahead and open it up.
Is Lil Florence going to be able to take the field at all?
Yeah, probably not. Not anticipating that.
What have you seen from Jabbar this spring? Obviously, he's a major addition to the defense.
Yeah, just a guy that has experience, right, and some savvy, right. He's really good at identifying routes, out of the break with the stem of the route, and how that means what he's going to be able to play post snap whenever that's happening, and continue to make some plays for us, right. Challenge himself. He likes the challenge of going against somebody that's going to make him better, which you love that when you're talking about iron sharpens iron.
Rosters aren't public yet, but have you let the guys know so they could kind of get that competition going?
Yeah, we had practice today. We had practice on what we're doing today, Tuesday.
With Jabbar playing at the level he has and as much as he has, what do you think is the next step in his game as a corner?
Well, I think every one of us has an opportunity to continue to challenge ourselves to get better. He had some grabs in the last scrimmage where he's got to be able to control his hands a little bit better before the ball's out. Something that we talked about. But there's a lot of things that he does really well. It's about finding the things that he doesn't do well and continue to improve on them, which he's done a good job of doing.
I know you have
one more practice left, but still, what are your expectations on Saturday? What do you want to see, when you go into a spring game? What's kind of the thought process and what you want to get out of it?
Yeah, creating that game day environment like we talked about. We're not going to go out there and show off everything we've done this spring from a scheme standpoint. We're going to let our guys go out there and play fast, right? See them execute and see who can play football.
Where have you gotten better this spring?
A lot of things. I'd start with, consistent physicality, expectation, the standard, right, is really matching itself. Done a good job of creating some of those habits that carry over to having success, right? You got goals and aspirations, but if your habits don't match, it doesn't matter.
So many newcomers this spring. Have you seen just them mature and kind of get integrated into the process now that you're kind of closing on the end of spring?
Yeah, they've done a good job. You got new faces, and the only way to figure it out is to get in there and get busy. And our guys have done a good job of getting in there and getting busy. If you have a question, ask a question.
There's been a lot of conversation about what spring games and what kind of the meaning of them is supposed to be. Dan, is Lane's turned it into almost a carnival atmosphere and no game at all, and obviously it's always pretty vanilla, but what do you want it to be by way of a showcase of football and also an evaluation point for use for the staff and for the players?
Yeah, we want to get better at football. We go practice what football looks like, do a good job of seeing who can play, right? And it's different when you play in a game day environment, so we want to create that.
Where's the growth for Jaden Lamar been over this offseason?
Yeah, Jaden understands. The first year when you come in, we ask our running back to do so much. There's so much they have to align based on the call, based on the play. So figuring out what you're doing there is the big start. Jaden's done a good job of understanding what we're doing. Now it's about how you run within each scheme, for him. But he's done a good job of picking up the concepts. You don't see a lot of MAs from him. He's a guy that goes out there on the field and executes his job.
How's Luke adapted to playing college ball?
Well, I think the first year for any player is a shock, right? It's like the speed of the game's gone a lot quicker. It's not as easy to go find a matchup out there on the field that you feel like can be a winner. So it's a lot to swallow for any freshman out there, including Luke. But he's done a good job of embracing that, knowing that there's going to be adversity, in year one. And he's continued to be a guy that can make plays out there on the field for us.
You have a new look along the interior D-line, as we all know, this spring. A couple of young guys, Amari Washington, Michael Gardner. What have you seen from them as they've kind of tried to take that next step this spring?
Yeah, just being sponges and the effort they play with, right? A lot of problems are solved with effort on the defensive line. And the way you can play with great effort is know your assignment. So, both those guys understand what we're doing a lot more, and that shows up, where their eyes at, where their hands get placed, post-snap, how they react to where the ball's, located. Those guys have shown that attention to detail to where they can improve and get better.
What has Coach Stein brought to the staff the past couple of years?
Yeah, I just think that he's does a great job as a coach at working with other coaches, right? A really collaborative effort. I think he has a great vision of exactly what we want it to look like and articulating that vision. He's brought some great, ideas. He's one that's always constantly studying what other things exist and doesn't have an ego, right? I think that's really important in this profession. You got to be able to figure out where you can improve and grow. Will's done an outstanding job of doing that.
How's your golf swing?
It needs a lot of work.
Why are you playing in the charity tournament next
Well,
month?
I think that's the biggest point is this is an opportunity to be able to give back to somebody else. You look at the amount of money that's been raised through this tournament, for great causes, and to have the opportunity to be a part of a great cause and raise some money for a great cause is something we're interested in.
How impactful is this weekend? Do you want this weekend to be for recruiting for not just the 25 cycle, but 26 and 27, setting up the years ahead?
Yeah, I think, when you talk about football matters at Oregon, I think one of the things that display that is our fan support, right? And our fans being out there making this a great impact. But, recruits want to see that. How much does a game matter in the spring? Does it matter to the fans of Oregon, right? And when they see that, I think they recognize how special football is here.
You want Dylan to attack when we get to post-spring in terms of when he's working with 3D QB or anybody else? What do you want him to kind of look at over the next 3 months after spring?
Yeah, we'll probably do a post-spring. Not probably. We will do a post-spring assessment of where the areas we can improve and what we can, attack at each position to get better. So once spring wraps up, you'll get an evaluation with your coach, and be able to sit down and say, here's the things we got to get better at.
Spring's a big time to develop and implement your culture a bit more with your guys. What do you want the Oregon culture to be known for, and kind of where is it at right now, would you say?
Yeah, really just our DNA traits, right? Connection, growth, toughness, sacrifice. Those things have to show up daily for us. And it's a constant reminder, for us, it's not going to happen on accident, right? You got to take some time and put attention to it. That's where we have our Get Real programs every single week, where we're talking about other stuff besides football. It's got to be, part of your curriculum. And it certainly is for us here.
Have you identified a theme for this season? If last year was good to great, if it's going to be built to last, if it's going to be something else?
Yeah, we're still working through it, right? And players can be a part of that as well.
Your thoughts on the 2-minute drill and getting, not 2-minute drill, 2-minute warning being put into the rules?
Yeah, I think the more that our game can reflect what's going to happen at the next level, there's, that continuity is probably a good thing. But yeah, it's going to be something that we'll be prepared for and ready to execute.
nobody in Detroit, what are your draft plans for Thursday night? Because you got Bo in Alabama and Jackson in Utah and Troy in the Bay Area. So how are you going to try and hit as many of these as possible?
Yeah, we'll see. You obviously can't be in 3 places at one time. Probably starts with who asks you, and then what you're able to make happen, because we still have practice on Thursday, we still have walkthrough on Friday, so we'll be creative and see what we can accomplish.
Obviously, the draft's an important time for any program, but what do you think the draft means to the Oregon Ducks and kind of where the program's headed?
We love seeing guys reach their goals and aspirations. We just talked about that, right? And your habits have to line up with that. But you can see a lot of guys' habits for our team last year lined up for them to have that opportunity to get drafted. And I think you'll continue to see more and more players drafted here at Oregon as we continue to develop the roster and develop our players. So credit to them. They earn that opportunity to have that day that they can celebrate, and we're really excited for those guys.
That's Dan Lanning after practice today. He met with the media just a little while ago. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, heard a bit from him from the scrimmage. Also heard a bit from him today as the Ducks now ramp up toward the spring game. Another practice on Thursday, spring game on Saturday. Also from the weekend, we heard from Rashad Samples. We'll have that for you coming up in a moment. But Jay Harris, getting to know one of the, well, I'll tell you, I'm still getting to know some of the guys on the roster. Hearing a bit from Jay Harris this weekend.
Missouri State, probably a different level of talent here, competition. What's that transition been like for you?
It's been good. Guys are bigger, faster, stronger. Just coming out here to play more competition and just getting better each day with those guys.
How do you feel like you've adapted to that level of competition?
I've adapted pretty well. Like I said, so faster pace and stuff like that. But overall, I've been adapting well since I've been here.
How did this move come about? Obviously, you go on the portal and see who calls, but do you know, like, how did they contact you? How did it go down?
I would say my stats really stuck out to a lot of coaches around. Just when I hit the portal, it was really just a lot of talk on just the performance I had during the season, and I really feel like that's what caught the coaches' eyes.
Can you walk us through coming out of high school, why you ended up at a Division II school? Obviously, with your talents, maybe you could have gone to a different level. What was that?
No excuses. I feel like I was just low recruited coming out of high school. Really didn't have much resources and stuff like that, but I really just stuck with it and kept my head down and got on.
What's it been like playing alongside Jordan and Noah and Jaden? Kind of what have you learned from them so far this spring?
I've learned a lot from those guys. Those guys are some dogs in and out the weight room, in and off the field, and just really just carrying on for what they're doing on the field and off the field. Really just the same thing.
What do you feel like you bring to this position that maybe wasn't here before you got here?
I bring a lot of power, versatility. I mean, I could play power back, third down back, first down back, just being versatile with my size and speed.
What's the last 2 weeks been like when your position coach changes and learning a new coach, like getting to meet him and trying to get acclimated with him kind of on the fly in mid-spring practice?
Honestly, it's been going pretty well. We've adjusted well. I mean, he's a very experienced coach. He knows a lot, and I'm just willing to learn from him.
Now that you kind of know the playbook a little bit better, are you starting to feel a little bit more comfortable being 1 week out from the spring game?
Yeah, from week one, just coming in, it was fast. I didn't think I was going to pick it up quick, but just studying, getting in this film room, stuff like that, I was able to pick up on the playbook, and now I'm playing more comfortable than I was in week one.
Coach said you found the end zone a couple times today. How does that feel for you in terms of coming here to this level and having some success in the scrimmage?
It feels good. I feel like I belong, and looking forward to keep getting to the end zone.
You've obviously got an expectation when you come here, but has it kind of lived up to that expectation so far, just being at Oregon?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Did you know a lot about Oregon before you came here or were recruited here?
Oregon was a dream school at one point, just because of jerseys and stuff like that, being young. Everyone knew about Oregon. I didn't think I'd be here, but I know I'd be somewhere else just based on what I did.
I thought that was cool to hear that. I mean, an honest, hey, the jerseys are a draw for a lot of guys, but coming from Northwest Missouri State, he was a Division II All-America first-teamer, one of the better players at that level, played in 20 career games, nearly 1,400 rushing yards, had 23 touchdowns, trying to make that transition. He was honest. Guys are a little bigger, faster, stronger here at this level, but still, I think at least judging from what I've seen and just hearing him talk there, an opportunity that he's relishing, and I look forward to seeing what he can do on the field over the course of an entire season in an Oregon uniform. When we come back, some updates around Oregon athletics. We've got more pre-spring game interviews coming for you. Also softball with a pretty special weekend that we'll review next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Spring Showers, these tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Spring Showers, these tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays? The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union, I'm Joey Mack. Over the weekend, we saw a tremendous victory for Oregon lacrosse. Jess Drummond is going to be with us on the show coming up later on this week. Friday evening, the Ducks play Colorado. That's after the team celebrated the 2024 senior class with an absolutely dominant victory, 20-12 over Arizona State in the final home game of the season at Pape Field. The Ducks are now 8-5 overall. They're 2-4 in conference play, picking up a crucial win to keep their hopes of qualifying for the Pac-12 tournament intact. Oregon scored 20 goals in a game for the first time since 2020, and 11 seniors were honored following the game, in which 6 of them scored at least 1 goal or dished out an assist. Morgan McCarthy led the way with 5 goals, 5 draw controls, and 2 ground balls in her final home game as a Duck. She continues to climb a lot of Pac-12 leaderboards all-time as well. Ducks will close the regular season at Colorado on Friday. It's a 5 o'clock start. The top 6 teams in conference play qualify for the Pac-12 championships, which are set for May 1st through 4th. Ducks win, they're in. Let's go Ducks, huh? Friday night, Oregon lacrosse, maybe with the season on the line. We'll see how it shakes out around the league. Track and field also. Aaliyah McCormick and Ceylon Ayedides posted a top 10 program performance, each of them did on Saturday, highlighting the team's final day of competition at the Mount Sac and Oregon Relays. Ducks notched 4 runner-up performances, which were all behind professional athletes. And I find it amazing when you have the Oregon Relays, you have these relays that include professionals. First of all, what an opportunity for a lot of collegiate athletes to look to their left, look to their right, and kind of go, whoa, this is who I'm competing against. But in all seriousness, the Ducks, I think, have started to really ramp up toward the end of the outdoor season, which is going to be here before we know it. Some more details on a lot of the other finishes for the Ducks on GoDucks.com. Pac-12 championships yesterday for the Ducks on the women's golf team. All 5 players shot par or better on Monday. Ducks closed the second round of the championships with an 11-under 277 at the Palouse Ridge Golf Club. Oregon's 277 tied for the 3rd lowest round in program history. 3rd lowest round in program history. The Ducks went from a 293 in round 1 to a 277 in round 2. Sitting in 3rd place, Ducks teed off this morning. Some updates still to come from round 3 of the Pac-12 championships for Oregon women's golf. See what Derek Radley's team can do here down the stretch in Pullman. A tough loss on Friday night for Duck baseball. Started out well with a 5-1 lead. And then a 6 and a 9 spot for Stanford made the difference in a 19-7 loss. Maddox Maloney homered twice. He now has 6 on the season, tied the freshman home run record set by Johnny DeLuca. Jacob Walsh, his teammate, Walsh hit the 6 bombs in his freshman campaign 2 years ago. And also his teammate this season, Ryan Cooney, has hit 6. So the Ducks had a bright spot from a freshman in what was otherwise a tough loss. The 4th inning proved to be a decisive inning in this series. Now on Saturday, the Ducks bounced back, ultimately won by 12 themselves. You score 7 in the 8th, you feel pretty good. Ducks won 17-5, forced the rubber match on Sunday, and it was a 10-7 loss. And again, the Ducks led by 4 going into the bottom of the 4th inning. And again, like Friday, Stanford scored 6 in the bottom of the 4th frame. Lost the series, the Ducks did, with that 10-7 decision. So Monday against San Francisco, Oregon needed a bounce back, and you never know how these things are going to go. You have the tacked-on game at the end of a weekend. Well, Ian Umlaut was absolutely dominant. First complete game of the season for a Duck. He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. One of those runs was unearned. Ducks got a home run from Carter Garade, his first of the season. 5 RBI from the 9-hole where Carter Garade was hitting. Ducks got the bounce-back win that they needed, picked up their 28th win of the season. The Ducks are 2 games out of first place in the conference standings. Arizona leads the Pac-12 right now. The Ducks are right around that second place spot. They're 2 games out of first. The Beavers are a half game behind them. And who does Oregon play Friday through Sunday? Oregon State in Corvallis. 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 2 o'clock. The Ducks and the Beavs this weekend in Corvallis for the rivalry series. Now for Ducks softball, man, what an impressive weekend. A run rule victory for Missy Lombardi's team on Friday. Absolutely outstanding to see that 11-3. Look, when you win by a run rule in softball, there's no better feeling. And I just want everybody to know, Knight Ureski called it on the show. Last week, Knight, the voice of the Ducks softball team, said that the Ducks he thought would win by run rule on Friday. They did. You were prophetic. Well done, Knight. Meanwhile, though, the Ducks did respond on Saturday. I should say the Beavs responded on Saturday with a 3-0 win of their own. The Ducks just had a few opportunities offensively that they did not capitalize on Saturday. When the middle of the order, like a lot of teams, doesn't get going, it's tough to score a lot of runs. All right, but then, what a moment on Sunday. Hannah Delgado got the start. A standing ovation. So cool to see. Overcoming a lot of emotions, Ducks won the rivalry series with an 8-3 victory over Oregon State. 3 home runs from seniors. Love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. All Oregonians. That's right. Knight with a good point. Yeah, over the weekend, we saw a lot of big moments from seniors in a rivalry series. The Oregonian, that connection certainly matters, but you know, Alyssa Daniel and Ariel Carlson, those 2 Oregonians, have been a huge catalyst for Oregon's offense, combining for what night now? 23, 24 home runs on the season?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, 24?
24 home runs between Ariel Carlson and Alyssa Daniel. They've been a huge part of Oregon's offense. Really tremendous to see what the Ducks did. And how about this? Let's get a timeout, and when we come back, we're going to hear from a number of Oregon softball student-athletes, Ariel Carlson and Alyssa Daniel, also Coach Lombardi, breaking down what was a special weekend for Ducks softball. Let's do that when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Spring Showers. These tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Deer Spring Showers. These tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Amethyst and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Talking softball after a rivalry series win for the Ducks. Head coach Melissa Lombardi in a moment. First to the Facebook feed, Shirley mentioned that she was really happy to be there for that Hannah Delgado moment. Isn't that true? I mean, it was one of those where I was down with the baseball team in the Bay Area and just seeing it from afar, goosebumps. Just absolute goosebumps for the Ducks to do what they did on senior day with everything they've gone through, with everything that Hannah Delgado has gone through. Pretty amazing. Also on a football note, is there an announced list of guest coaches for this year's spring game? Announced. No. Will there be a number of guest coaches? Yes. Who exactly will be there? Who's to know? We'll see you at Autzen Stadium at 1 o'clock on Saturday for the spring game. Coach Lombardi, Duck softball head coach, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a Duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. An emotional day on Sunday. Ducks got a critical Pac-12 series win, won the rivalry series at the Jane. Last ever Pac-12 game at the Jane. A lot to unpack with Coach Lombardi after the victory.
Having all your seniors drive in all the runs on senior day and Ariel driving 2 home runs is about as Hollywood as it gets.
Yes, I think that's about as senior day-ish as it could possibly be. So just to see them all step up and lead the charge, it was important for us to get the series, and just to watch our elders be the one to get it done was awesome today.
Is that, I realize there's a lot that happens in practice that we don't always see, Missy, but is that the furthest home run you've seen hit here at center field? Because at least in home games, I can't immediately recall one.
It possibly could be. It was launched.
Were all the tears dry from Hannah being subbed out when Ariel hit her first homer?
No, I think we've had tears all day long. I think it just hasn't stopped. I think everybody's going to sleep really good tonight, but I think you can just see how important this group is, what they've done for our program. You could see how the impact that they've had on their teammates, us as coaches. I mean, we all do life together. We're with each other every single day. And so it's just a bittersweet moment. So excited to see what's next for them, but then so sad to see them leave.
Coach, Ariel talked earlier this week about how she wanted to be remembered as a hard worker. What do you remember about her and her entire Oregon Duck career?
Just simply that. I mean, her word was disciplined, and it's just to a T. You know, I think about the summer before her junior year when she wanted more and came here every single day and hit and really got in the weight room and adjusted her diet and just really wanted something different and knew that she was going to have to put the work in. We laugh in the summertime in our middle cage. She hits every single day. And she, at the plate, will leave her shoes, her bat, her batting gloves, and she walks away. And we're like, you want to use the med room, Ariel? And no, she just leaves it there because she's going to be back the next day. That's why she leaves it there. And to see her do that before the summer of her junior year, and then to continue to do that, through her last year, and then start to see other piles of her teammates in the summer do the same thing. They started leaving their things right next to hers. Just tells you the impact that she's had on her team, the discipline that she has, the dedication, the will to be great.
7 days ago, Hannah's in the hospital. She's got surgery coming up. Who knows how that's going to go. If somebody had told you then she's going to be in uniform today, able to take the field at least ceremonially, just how unlikely might that have felt 7 days ago to be able to get to experience this moment?
Yeah, I just think about going out on the field and what I witnessed. And no, somebody would have told me that right in that instant, I would have been, thank you, but just wouldn't have expected it. But that's just her determination, and that's been Hannah her whole career here. Like, she's so locked in and focused, and when she wants something, she'll go and get it. She's so locked in with her schoolwork. She's locked in with her routine, with what she does, to get prepared. That's just Hannah. So really, I shouldn't be surprised because that's Hannah.
And can you expound on what she was talking about in terms of exactly what Kate did in that moment?
Yeah, and I think too, kind of a little more of her story to tell, but just really with the way everything happened, like she went down and Ariel told her to stay put. And it was important that she stayed put. And KP came out, and all of her training and everything that she has been preparing for an unfortunate situation like that to occur, her training kicked in. She stayed with her and made sure that she stayed still, handled all the procedures of the spine boarding and getting her to the hospital. So I think of Ariel and I think of KP and Tracy Oshiro, their trainer. The paramedics and everybody was involved. It was like clockwork, and that was a difference maker. It could have gone the other way.
When you train as everybody in coaching in any sport, in a contact sport, trains for and goes through those situations, you never dream it's going to happen.
I'm sorry.
But you never think, in the worst nightmare, you never think it's going to happen. What goes through your mind, because you've undoubtedly, over the course of your coaching career, probably encountered a training 20, 30, 40 times by now.
Yeah. No, it's just, you think of like a contact sport and things like that happen. And it's just, I think it's something that people are just a little more familiar with. And it's just, you don't see stuff like that. Thank you. You don't see stuff like that happen in softball. And what was really cool to see is that it did happen, and everybody just went to their training. Everybody went to what was, the next right thing to do, and their training took over. Arizona was tremendous. Their hospital was right down the street. It's just, thank goodness. Like, you hate for something like that to happen, but you're so thankful that that's where it happened. But you just saw everybody just get into what it is that they needed to do to help the situation, and that was the difference maker. And it started with Ariel. So.
You see, it's always part of the expectation that seniors go out and they have their best seasons, and the natural progression that is, and certainly Bunk and Tara did last year, and Ariel's doing it. But Alyssa's having a career kind of year. What is it that it's going according to plan for so many, and what is it about Alyssa that's allowing that to happen?
I just think the same thing like Ariel. You get older, you get wiser. You just get wiser and understand how to go about your craft. You just go about it just a little different. And you are not afraid or fearful of it. You just know it's what you need to do. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you start to understand like what you need, and you go to it, and you go get it. You know, as seniors, I think they just get to a point where it's like, I'm not going to worry about things. I'm going to go play. I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to walk off this field knowing that I emptied the tank. You know, you could do everything right in sport and come out on the bad end. You could do everything right and still sometimes not come out on the end that you want to come out on. And so I think it's important for these guys to be able to empty the tank. And if they empty the tank, then that's all that matters. If they gave everything they've got, that's all that matters.
Elise had a really good start yesterday, throwing the complete game, but team wasn't able to come through for her. She comes in with a runner in scoring position, gets that strikeout, has a great outing, 3 innings, 4 strikeouts. What do you like for her? Like, what does it mean for her to have that ability to bounce back the next day and have another really, really strong outing?
Yeah, she wanted to get it done, and she wanted to get it done for her seniors today. So she was ready to get after it and get back on the mound and continue with what she was doing. I love how Reggie started the game off for us. She did everything that we needed her to do. I knew today it was probably going to take more than one. Usually on Sundays, that just happens. It's just part of a 3-game series. And for Reggie to set the tone and get us through, she got us through 3 2/3, and then to pass the ball to Elise to come in and get it done, 3 innings pitch, and then for Morgan to come in and get that last out. Loved it.
Obviously, change coming at the conference level. Where is things going to stand with you and Oregon State going forward?
This is an important series to us, and I know it's an important series to them too. So I hate that we are not going to be in the same conference, but I look forward to us continuing our 3-game series. I will. That's what I'm expecting and hoping that's going to happen. I think once we all get our schedules and see what it looks like conference-wise, then we'll be able to get that scheduled. But no, this is a rivalry that you don't want to stop at all. This is a rivalry that should continue even if we're not in the same conference.
Timing-wise, do you think that's possible to still fit in the Big Ten schedule, Missy, because it's an odd number of teams and that on the weekend that you have off, presumably, possibly, if it works out with their situation, that it could happen as late as an April weekend? It doesn't have to be a figuring it out in February kind of thing. You could do it.
Yeah, no. And what I think is great is that, I mean, what a great opportunity to do a midweek. If whoever we'll talk more about it, but to me what would be kind of cool is to be able to create some midweeks if a weekend didn't work out, where maybe the home team has 2 and the visitor has 1. So every year, both of us at least get 1 game at our stadium. So that's just my 2 cents. But that's what I'm hoping will happen. This is a rivalry that needs to continue, no question. I mean, you look at this weekend and how we started the first game, and then the second game they came back and threw punches, and then the third game we came back. So it's good.
Just had a quick question about Hannah, kind of that emotion that you were feeling, all of the players are feeling it. What steps have you guys taken as a group, collectively or individually, to kind of process that? Because there was a lot of emotion there. It was so close to going the other way, and it didn't.
Yeah.
That there's that emotion to be dealt with.
No, we've been processing, and I think that we just try. I mean, I think we all just trust in our Lord, and that He has His hands on her, and there's something specific for Hannah, and I think we just all trust in that. I think more than anything, I think that's what's helped us get through this, and then just seeing Hannah, like I said, the strength that she's provided. We're supposed to provide her strength, and she's just providing it to us. She's just unbelievable. So.
Are you able to say specifically what the injury was?
No, I'm not.
Really amazing, though, what she's been through. I mean, the emotion for Coach Lombardi. Pretty raw there post-game on Sunday. Glad that Hannah Delgado is going to be okay. That's the important thing. And in the immediate future, Ducks got a big series win. Now they have a Pac-12 bye week, and they're playing 1 game this week against Northern Colorado on Sunday. We'll talk with Coach Lombardi about that a little bit more on the show tomorrow as the Ducks get ready for an extended week of practice and maybe a day off. An extra day off in this point in the season? Yeah, the Ducks are going to do that. Yeah, Coach Lombardi told us that this morning. We'll have that full interview, she and I talking this morning on the show tomorrow. When we come back, let's hear from one of those seniors in Ariel Carlson. Man, a lot to unpack, and I'll tell you what, Ariel Carlson right now should be the Pac-12 Player of the Year. We'll make the case when we come back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheSkin.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ariel Carlson is putting on really a tremendous season. She's in the top 5 in every offensive category in the Pac-12. She's one of 2 players in all of Division I softball that has 14 or more home runs and stolen bases. That's Pac-12 Player of the Year stuff. Not to mention what you just heard Coach Lombardi talking about, her growth to her senior year, the way that she has been a leader for this team, and the way that even in the moment, she's the one that was the first there to see her teammate, her friend, Hannah Delgado, down a couple weeks ago. Just, it's amazing to think about. And I it's funny, I keep trying to find other descriptive words other than amazing, right? In broadcast world, you try to have variants. We don't want to bore you and say the same thing over and over again. But how else do you describe what's happened? It's really remarkable. It's an amazing 2-week period for Hannah Delgado and for Duck softball. One of the seniors, Ariel Carlson, putting some of that into context after the win over Oregon State on Sunday.
You came up for the 3rd time after Kai had singled. Was there any party that had a little bit of disappointment that you didn't send it out again and just had an RBI double?
When I'm up there, I'm never really trying to hit a home run, so it was not really on my mind. I try to keep it as simple as possible and just hit the ball, so it wasn't too much on my mind, no.
The first homer, are the tears even dry from Hannah getting subbed out of the game?
Yeah, it was an emotional game from the very beginning, but she deserved every second of every amount of praise that she got. So I'm so happy that she had that moment, and it was just so bittersweet. It's amazing having her back in the dugout.
But how do you get refocused to take a big at bat and hit a bomb like that?
Honestly, I think it actually helped me because I'm a thinker, and so just being able to put the focus on something else, honestly, I think cleared me up at the plate because I wasn't thinking about any mechanics, nothing else besides just hitting.
Was that first one the furthest home run you've ever hit?
I don't know. I've had some far ones in my time, but I think that's probably the farthest to dead center.
Could you explain what you were thinking today, seeing Hannah out there to start the game, having seen her on the field when the events happened? And I'm sure when that happened, that was the farthest thing from your mind. You know, kind of what that thought process is from there to what you saw today.
Yeah, watching her have that moment was one of the best memories of my college career, because when that injury happened, so many things went through my head. I just wanted to keep her safe, and I'm so thankful that she's okay. And like I said earlier, she deserved everything that she got today. But when she wasn't there for the 2 games at Arizona, we definitely missed her, and we felt her presence gone. So getting her back in the dugout, even if it is in a different role, it means the world to all of us. And she's giving us so much as a teammate, even if she can't be on the field with us. So she's so strong, and she's providing us so much strength.
What was today like for you? Just hitting 2 home runs in your final Pac-12 game here, and just everything about your final game.
Yeah, I mean, kind of what I said earlier. I think just the emotions of today and just getting to celebrate everyone in this whole senior class and everything we've worked for, it kind of just took the stress off of the game, and we were all just able to have fun, be free, and just go out there and play. And I think what happened was just a result of that.
Before the game, I think it was Abby that brought you a bouquet of flowers. What was that moment like for you to get that big bouquet of flowers before the game and share that moment?
Yeah, I said earlier this week that playing Oregon State for my senior day was kind of bittersweet because she was my high school catcher. Like, I grew up with her, and we were tied to the hip in high school. So it was amazing to be able to share the field with her, even if it was on different sides.
Coach was talking a little bit about, and expounding on what Hannah was talking about, what Kate did going out in the field and your role as well. Mm-hmm. Can you expound just what you did when Hannah's thanking you specifically, and thank Kate specifically, what you did and what Kate did there last week?
Yeah, I mean, Hannah's my person. I've played next to her in the outfield for years, and so seeing what happened, I just knew that the most important thing was just to keep her calm and just be there for her in any way that she needed, to keep her still. And the training staff got out there immediately, so I don't even feel like I did that much, but her family's been thanking me all week, and yeah, she's my person, and I'm so thrilled that she's okay.
That's Ariel Carlson talking there. That's pretty wild to think through. You know, your person gets hurt like that in the outfield next to you. And I know that she's going to deflect. She's that kind of person. But seriously, let's think this through for a second. If you're Hannah Delgado and you see your person react, whoa. But instead has the thought process, Ariel does, to keep her calm and think through those things. Just, that's a big person, isn't it? That's a big person in Ariel Carlson. A lot of emotion. Always good to get a win if you're Duck softball. Tomorrow, some more updates on spring football. Didn't get to Rashad Samples and Will Stein today. More coming. It's spring game week. See you tomorrow on Duck Insider.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it. I got the job. I can't believe it.
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at